the great Macedonian marvel Peter Daicos is in the studio with me. What a thrill. Go,
Oh,
Dakes.
Kev, how are we?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
it's
You look
good.
fit, you look healthy, you look terrific.
Oh, I'm not bad. I've just been for a swim, so no, I feel pretty good. And what is it with you? Are you stalking me? What is it with you?
We bumped into one. I knew you'd been lined up for the program, and I was really happy with that. And then I go to an opening yesterday. We both went to an opening down at Point Cook of the Wind City Bowling
Yes.
and Entertainment Centre, and they've got everything in there. They've got bumper cars and bloody target shooting and...
Well, hasn't 10-pin bowling come on?
Oh.
I mean, wow, what a centre. It
Fred
was sensational.
Flintstone would be...
Twinkle toes?
He would be in his element down at Wind City. And I look across and there's Dakes having a bowl with the family. It's good fun.
Yeah, it was great fun, and my kids enjoyed it. So I think I had more fun than the kids.
Yeah, I reckon
I've
I
got
did
no
too.
doubt. And I said to the kids when we got there, okay, we're in. Let's get it done. We're out in an hour and a half. Well, 5 hours later, they had to drag me out. So,
okay.
Yeah, so Eddie and the girls out there were fantastic
And
hosts.
I watched you bowl at one stage. You look
That'll do. That'll do.
You've got a bit of... You're not Twinkle Toes Flintstone,
Yes.
but you've got a bit of action about you.
Oh, yeah, not bad. Thank God I didn't trip over my own feet. But look, it was a good day, and it was good to see you. Yeah,
down at
terrific.
Wallace Avenue at Point Cook. Check them out. It's a good little place, a new developing area down there at Point Cook, and lots of new things. And they've relocated from Werribee into there. So
Yes.
good luck to them. Good
Fantastic.
people.
Good concept.
Now, what are you up to these days? You've got a Sportzstats thing that you want to tell us about. So tell us how this works. Firstly, tell us how you developed it.
Well, I've been developing it over the last 5 years, and this is really the Mark II version, if I can call it. I mean, it's in the sort of positioning of sort of smartphones and where it is. I mean, ideally, when I first set up Sportzstats, and it's in two parts. The program's about going along, and it's to bring families together, go along to a game, mum or dad to take the stats of the kids, and it's not as serious as that, but the whole thing around it is, I mean, stats is huge in sport, but it's about the kids, and it's about sort of getting involved in their game, and this is a great way to do it. And then more importantly, the second part of Sportzstats is the ability to push it to an e-diary, to our website. So it's a sports portal, and the kids then can throw in their photos, and they get all their the recording of their game data in there. So it's information they can reference, and the system allows also for the communication. So where we are these days with smartphones, with the iPhones and Android apps, I mean, they're free. So Sportzstats make those available for free. So you can go online, register for them. But then what we're really about is the online portal. So, it's sportsstats.com, and you just go there, you register, you get 2 free game uploads, and you can start punching in all your information. Get your teammates involved, and one of the real good parts that I love about it is the coaches also have a diary, so they can send on pre-match notes and game approaches and positioning of the kids and players, and more importantly post, because the communication aspect's really important. I just felt with the program that it's about bringing the parents together, getting the parents involved, and I think we've done that.
Now, okay, so I've got an 8-year-old who's football obsessed, unfortunately.
Yeah,
even worse than his old man.
Well, he's not alone. He's not
Yes.
alone.
So he's going to obviously he's going to have another year I was kick, and then next year he's going to
Yes.
want to play for a club. So we get him into a club. So if you've got a kid starting out, and you don't want it to be about them in terms of I had 6 kicks and I had 4 marks. No, it's sort of integrating that into the team environment as well?
Well, it is. The whole idea is you can send that information back. But look, it's a bit of a benchmark. And I mean, we in the sports side of things, this is not about being a world beater. This is about their level, and about sort of setting a bit of a benchmark, and then, allowing them to better that benchmark, and hopefully surpass it. And it's not about being a world beater. And look, at the end of the day, if you're able to go on, fantastic. I think we've got something there for everyone. But the system geographically maps where they get this. So the app will allow you to geographically map where they get their stats on the field, at what time they get them, which I think the game time is really important. And then you've got the positioning and the type of stat that was won. So, but the other thing that's really important, Kev, is that they can put their game thoughts in. So based around their team and about their individual game, which I've always said when I go off and speak at different clinics and coaches, coordinators meetings, that if we can get the process right, the stats will come, and that's not really what this program's about. Although I will say that stats in sport these days, and football in particular, is huge. I mean,
it's paramount.
It's on the...
Yep.
It's prior to the game, it's after the game, it's on the screen as the game's being played, left-hand top, right-hand top. So, but this is about also building a keepsake. So as you go along, it'll average out all your stats. And we don't just do one sport. This is, we have 4 sports.
There's a lot of sports involved. There's netball, soccer, basketball, and of course, Aussie rules footy.
Yeah, and we have cricket being launched in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We're also bringing out BMX riding, which we're really excited about.
Hang on, Daicos. Now, I'm no road scholar, but how do you do stats on BMX?
Well, it's all based around times, and so what we're able to do with our app, you'll be able to videotape the actual race. Now, the races sort of go for, the blink of an eye, you're 30, 40 seconds, if not sooner, up to 20 seconds. So, things that are sort of measured as sort of your starts and where your positioning is at the bottom of hills, around corners, who goes past you, who you go past. Now, might not mean a lot to you and I, but every sport is skill specific. So, and the whole idea with it is about personal improvement. So if I can reference this information later, and the system does allow you to go and actually put in the necessary skill sets that were performed, and then the best part about it is that you can reference it, so you can go back and have a look, and it's all about gaining your own personal improvement. And again, I can't stress enough, this is not about being a world beater. This is about, okay, this is the level I'm at. Okay, let's take football. I'm at 6 kicks and a couple of handballs. Didn't take a mark this week. That information, because the system also automates a report, so it goes back to the coach who now can have a look at it and say, Kev, yeah, you did well, or you didn't take a mark. So he can actually be very specific about your training requirements for the week, be very specific about that, and that's where you gain a lot of improvement. Training can also be garnished and set up around a lot of these reports, and at the end of the day, we're just trying to find that medium ground of gaining improvement.
Yeah, no, it's a terrific idea. What's been the reaction from people who've used it, from the kids who've used it? Have you got any feedback from them?
Well, we launched in late November with this new version, which has sort of taken 18 months to 2 years, in and around there. It's been really well received, and we've just started to get out there. I mean, we had the Christmas break in January, so it was a little bit quiet, but football's now sort of coming on, and we're in England now with the UK and doing some work with soccer out there, which we're really excited about. We have a pilot in the US with a local soccer team. When I say local, 4,000 kids. So it's all sort of, and look, the whole idea of Sportzstats is we're talking about a rollout of 30 to 40 sports. So every sport is skill specific, even 10-pin bowling, which is certainly been earmarked.
A lot of skill being shown yesterday by your good self and my good self.
So the whole idea is to keep, say, you played sport, and I do say to people, okay, so what have you got to show? You might have a couple of photos, and that's it.
Would be great. That's one part of it that I would dearly love to have memories of. The innings I've scored at cricket. I've got a couple little sort of things that Mum cut out of the paper, and Hilly 32 or whatever it was. And that's the only thing I've got to show that I actually scored a run or two when I was a kid.
Well, and the beauty of the program is it allows you to drill down, and you can go in and you can sort of revisit it, and your thoughts are really what's golden about this. Getting your team thoughts and your own personal game thoughts. I know we all mark ourselves a little bit better than we've probably sort of played, and that's the beauty of what we've done. The other thing is with clubs, they can build little yearbooks out of it and sort of encourage kids to send in their favourite game. All sort of part of that football experience or sporting experience.
Happy to take your calls on this 9429 1116 or your text thoughts on 0433 98 1116. Now we should point out it's Sports, SPORTZ stats. So Sports with a Z, stats, SPORTZ stats, and just go to Sportzstats Sportzstats.
Stats. Yeah.
Put my teeth back in. Daicos.
Sportzstats, that's it.
.com,
.com.
and then you can download the first two game applications.
Well, you
say?
register for free.
Yep.
So as a player or as a coach, you register free. There's no cost. You get 2 free game uploads, so you can naturally, whether it's 2 weeks or during the week, and then go off to the App Store and download the apps which are free. And now, again, the system automates. As soon as you finish your game, it'll automate a game report with scores and everything you've populated, and that can be shared amongst your club who can collect the history. You've got coaches, mum and dad. Naturally, they can put that away for you and then send it off to your friends. So more people get involved in your game experience.
Oh, it's fantastic. We're talking more about that, and we'll get Dake's thoughts on the footy as well coming up.
Anthony Danaher beaten for it by Mullane. Salmon goes back and tries to get the hand pass back. Can't do so. Russell picks it up, heads in towards the pocket. Over the head of Thompson it goes. Daicos, this is where he's at his best. The master.
The memories, 21 past 1. Peter Daicos is in the studio with me here on Sunday Sports Central on 11:16 SEN, and we're talking about this new Sportzstats, which is for kids to keep a record of their stats as they go through games. Made a really interesting point. You talk to, say, my bloke who's 8 now, when he's 10 and he's running around for whoever he's running around for, and he doesn't get a kick, and he might get one hand pass and has a look at that and goes, well, I'm never going to be Gary Ablett. What's the point of me carrying on? I'm never going to be Gary Ablett. Wouldn't it be great to be able to grab Gary Ablett's stats as a 10-year-old and show him that Gary Ablett played games when he didn't get a kick and a hand pass? Because the Gary Ablett of 10 years old is probably a lot different to the 25-year-old we're watching running around at the moment.
Spot on, Kev. I couldn't have said it better. And that's the whole point of this. We tend to use established players as an example of our kids, for our kids. And the whole idea with Sportzstats, and I'm hoping that's what will another benefit that we'll be able to achieve down the road, is that the next Gary Ablett Jr. that comes through the ranks, that the information and IP on him as a kid coming through can be passed on to kids relative to their age, specific to their age. So, a 12-year-old, as you pointed out, a 12-year-old Gary Ablett Jr. would have been a great example for 12-year-olds. And I've got no doubt, and I did read somewhere where he started late and wasn't as a dominant junior, and I don't think he even started dominating the game when he was sitting across the half-forward line with Geelong. So that all come at a later date. And I know what my kids are like. They look at me and they look at photo when I was young and say, geez, you were skinny and you were small. And I go, well, I was 12. I was like you. So, and I did battle, and I wasn't a great player. And I wish I had that information to pass on. So it's a starting point, and it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And that's the whole idea with what we're tried to sort of put out there with Sportzstats.
And I don't know about you, but I think back to my junior days playing sports, and I can't remember a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll look through the paper clippings once every 10 years or something and see that I scored, 50 against someone and go, I don't remember one shot. I don't remember even where we played the game.
Well, wouldn't you like to break it down? Wouldn't it? And then you amongst friends, I mean, you didn't go on to, sort of make your league. But Kev, we do it with our everyday life. We document it with photos and videos, and yet we really fall by the wayside when it comes to sport. Now, we always revisit these things, don't we? Like, Mum takes a photo of you, and what do? You say, oh, go away. But you revisit it.
Yeah, you do.
15, 20 years down the track, you'll pull it out and go, oh my God, have a look at that. And and it's no different. That's the whole idea with the program we've set up. And first and foremost, it's about bringing families together, getting parents involved. And I had one of the mums say to me, re basketball just recently, oh, you've done me a favour. I didn't know what a rebound was. But they get in, they get to sit down with their kids, they learn the terminologies, and there's more interaction. What do you do when you get in the car? You get in the car and you go, oh, yeah, good game, mate, whatever. But this way, the kids drill down, and I know what sort of the habits is. They come home and they say, how did I go, Dad? Great. And I say, okay, now put your thoughts in. That's more important than any of the stats, because I say to coaches, if I can get the thought process right and you can prompt the kids, then the stats will come.
There's also that thing about if you can see an improvement in what you're doing, you're more likely to stay in the game.
And that's I think we can achieve that. Not everyone. and that's really important. I think if we can assist the kids and support them in their personal improvement, I have no doubt we will keep some of the kids in sport, because it just makes sense. If they battle between 13 and 15, there will be a drop off. The kids get bigger. Their skill sets have probably come on a lot quicker. And if we can support their improvement, well, we've got more of a chance to keep them in sport. So I think we at Sportsstats tick a lot of boxes in those areas.
Absolutely, because there is a time you get to your life when you get to around that 15 mark where you start to discover other things about the world.
Yeah, like
and,
what?
Like girls and like jobs
yes.
and like all those things that
Yes.
start to... get into your time and you sort of say, well, do I want to keep playing footy or soccer or basketball or whatever? If you could keep a small percentage, 5 or 10%, if you could keep them involved because they can see that they're getting something out of it, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
And the coaches, how many kids say, my coach doesn't talk to me or he doesn't like me? So this is great for coaches. With our coaches' diaries, you can go to the site again, have a look and try it out. You can communicate with the kids. So you can send them pre-match little prompters, set up the setups of their team, and if kids are sending back their game reports, well, your system will be populated with their averages as well. So you can say, geez, he's been going okay, I might sit him on a wing this week or put him back here, or he's been a bit quiet, so I'll sit him up the ground or put him in the middle of the ground. And the beauty of that, is that after a game, the coach can just send you a quick line to say, hey, super game, Kev, let's keep it up next week, let's go again, that type of thing. And that feedback is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Jimmy's in South Morang. G'day, Jimmy.
G'day, fellas. How you going?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm totally right about this topic because, it's good to have fun and all that kind of stuff with kids. But, as they get older, if they're not skill works not up to scratch, they'll lose interest. They'll say, I'm not good enough. I don't want to get hammered every week. So it's good to give them feedback, positive feedback. And, you're not criticising, you're just improving it. Because I coach my little boy at soccer and, if his skill is not up to scratch, he's about 13, 14, he'll tell me, Dad, I'm not good. I don't want to lose. I don't want to play no more. So that's I reckon it's very important.
And you're spot on, Jim, and I couldn't agree with you more. And that's one of the points we make about Sportsstats is if we can give positive feedback. And look, there's a lot of people that'll give you a bit of a whack because we throw sports into the mix of things. But, we don't forget that it's okay to bring a report home from school and teachers are there to sort of provide feedback and information. And, it's no different with sport. And kids are like sponges, and it's a very basic line, but they will soak it up. And if you take an interest in them, and that's what we do with Sportsstats, they will come on. They will surprise you, I have no doubt. And the positive thoughts are really important.
And one thing in this that I just thought of that it actually might be beneficial too is the ugly parent syndrome in some ways.
Keep them busy.
Well, because if a coach goes, if you've got someone who, and we know there are blokes around and parents around who do this, who give their kid a hard time because they're not getting 12 kicks and 14 hand passes and kicking 5 goals. If the coach says, if the kid can show the parent, the coach said I went really well today. I know you didn't think I went well, Dad, but I actually went really well. The coach is really happy with the way I'm playing. That kind of breaks that down a little bit too, which is, I reckon, really important. Yep. Kobe off Caulfield off the SMS said Gary Ablett never had a one-possession game. Even as a 3-year-old, he was getting 50 possessions a game in the under-11s, which wouldn't surprise me at all. What's your thoughts on the first round of the footy? It hasn't quite finished yet. We're into day 432 of the first round. We'll finish it tonight. What have you got out of the first round? Having a look.
Well, it hasn't surprised me because it's all part of the landscape, isn't it? How do you go after a 6-month layoff? I mean, everyone sort of will, sort of sing the hymns of the club and be very positive. But look, the Collingwood result really shook me up a little bit and surprised me. I mean, 70-point loss to a team that's coming into state. Now, I know Fremantle's a pretty good team and will finish in the top 4, but, that was just a horrifying start to their season. Look, the game last night, they've both those teams have their concerns. I've got, and they're both... no doubt out there to sort of try and remedy, their shortcomings over the last couple of seasons, but St Kilda managed 68 points against a very low team in the Demons, and they got the points. That's great, but it wasn't a great spectacle.
It's going to be a long season for both supporters of both those two clubs.
Yeah, I think so. But I thought Brisbane were terrific. I thought Essendon have sort of maintained that mental sort of stubbornness that they sort of shown last year. Can they? Yeah, the football year. I always say whoever came up with the 22 rounds, 24 these days, is a genius because it finds you out, and it's such a long season. I think it'll find Fremantle out. I'm not convinced that they can adopt a smash and crash and bash game and sort of get through the year unscathed. They go looking for the body, and I think that's going to be. I think that will be their downfall. That's only my thoughts. Yeah. Hawthorn I like, and I think he's terrific at being able to manage a list and the workload of his players, which is all important in the sort of, the type of game we play these days. So, and then look, Sydney, they play enough home games. They're going to be up there. I really like Adelaide. I think Adelaide have a lot to offer. They've got a few injuries, and I think they will surprise quite a few teams. I think they'll make the 8. I'm putting them into the 8.
Who do you like watching the most?
I really enjoy Port. I love what Kenny Hinkley has done at Port. I mean, he's make no bones about it. He's had plenty of support to set it up, but his blueprint is fantastic. They do run. I love his attitude. Last week, I caught him on the TV saying, you play Port, you're going to have to run, you're going to have to... and it reminds me of Muhammad Ali, like going out... I hate this sort of mutual respect stuff. That's all great. Don't give the opposition any ammunition. I loved his line. It was just fantastic, and he's no doubt very confident with the list he has, and they're a good team.
Where are the Pies at? If I'm going to nail you to the spot about your former club, it's now Nathan Buckley's side. There's no doubt about that. He's gone to great pains to make sure that he's got what he wants now.
List, yep.
Where do you think they're at? And one game is you can't can't get carried away.
And look, we've when all the experts will come out one week and recant sort of whatever's been said 3 weeks down the track, and all of a sudden they're world beaters. Look, but I have my concerns just on a couple of fronts, and repositioning of players, and I won't go into a whole gambit of things, but Benny Sinclair playing as a backman just doesn't work for me. I know they want that run out, but for me, Benny Sinclair's ability to run players down, that are sort of trying, or teams that, and I've seen him do that plenty of times a couple of seasons ago. I know his kicking at times might let him down, but he does kick goals. He's hard at it. But more importantly, one of the bigger and better traits is his ability to run players down, and they lacked that against Fremantle. They were just absolutely smashed in that role with Michael Johnson running out, Pearce sitting back there, and then running the ball out with Barlow and Mundy and the rest of them. So I like him. And the other thing is Travis Cloke, with the ability now to wrestle and push, and it's giving a bit back to the forwards. He is the best forward in the game. I've got no doubt. No one would even come close. That kid should have kicked up.
Have him that far ahead of Buddy?
Easily. Yeah? Okay. Oh no, Buddy's fallen off the radar, and he fell off the radar a couple of years ago. I think play him closer to goal, let him go one-on-one, and if teams like Fremantle do drop 2 and 3 back, well, you know what? Hold the ball up and make sure we pick the eyes out of who's free for us. Yep. If they're going to sit back, well, we slow it up a little bit and let's pick the eyes out. Let's stretch them and find out who is free and make sure we play through them. But Cloke one-on-one, no one will beat him, Kev. And just get the ball up to him. Let it sit in the air. Don't kick it at him. Sit it in the air, just out in front. Let him jump. He's dynamite.
I guess what you brought to the game was an excitement, an X factor that you got bums on seats, and you got people's bums out of those seats with what you did on the ground. Does anyone do that for you these days?
I love watching Motlop of Geelong. I just love. I always say, it's so pre-rehearsed. A lot of the moves of players, and it's pretty. Stereotype in the sense that the movement of the ball, the chip and run and go on and get it, whereas they're unpredictable. And you talk about getting a bit excited. I mean, it becomes a bit anticlimactic when the ball gets chipped and then gets chipped to 20 goals and you kick a goal and you go, oh, great, Whereas that unpredictability, and I think the players that do bring that are the likes of Cyril Rioli, who I love, and Motlop. I liked even Joe Danaher the other night. I thought he was, running back with the flight.
Couple of great marks, didn't he?
Yeah, and then just his enthusiasm, which was fantastic. Stevie J brings it, and there's a lot of other players that I like. I mean, there's many players I really enjoy. Watching run around. So, it's a great game, but they're the players because their unpredictability. And always interesting enough, when they say Rioli doesn't do it enough, well, he does something so unique. It's hard to, it's like Jezza took that one big mark, but he just couldn't do it. I know he took some other great marks, but it's hard to replicate some of the things that these guys do because that's what makes it so unique and interesting. You just can't consistently do it.
And good sides have got to have that, haven't they? Because you've got to break that game simulation that almost happens on the ground now, that they practice and practice and practice. He'll run that way and he'll run this way and we'll run this way and you've got to have someone who actually goes, you know what, I can see something different there and I'm going to slip through and show you how I do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you carry the ball, you open the games up because it draws players. And the whole idea with a Rioli is, and the other thing he does do is people know he'll dance and he'll balk and he'll pirouette and do whatever he does, do a little somersault. So he has 2 and 3 players running him. And as long as he keeps his feet and has the ability to choose, and he's very good at choosing the right option, he's drawn 2-3 players out of the action. Then he nails, he'll get a handball out or a little toe poke out and away you go, the Hawks. And that's just so important. That's how you open games up. You don't open games up and there's only one way. You either run it into the middle or you use your skill or, and that's where those guys are gold for mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
CBJ and so on.
Now, Sportzstats is what we've been talking about with Peter Daicos. The great family app and terrific for kids coming through the game to be able to document what you did in your game. I think it's just invaluable. I'd love to be able to retrospectively do a Back to the Future and go back and have a look at some of the things. So I guess I guess you would too.
Look, and that's one of the reasons I developed it. People kept saying, what were you like as a kid? And take it from me, I didn't get a kick. So, but I didn't have.
Are you serious?
Oh, look, I went all right, but look, I went all right, and played in a few positions. I mean, what might be of interest is I played centre half back, so I wasn't in the middle of the ground.
Did you really?
Yeah, I played centre half back in. I always liked in junior footy. Another topic, but you had 2 years, where it was 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, and in the first year, when I was sort of a lot smaller, I played in the centre, ruck row, played in the forward line, and then in the second year, when I was one of the bigger boys, I played centre half back, which I always liked sitting, even coaching junior football, like those players with a bit of flair, a little bit of run. I love sitting across half back because I think it's a great learning curve, and it takes a lot of the confusion out and simplifies it. All they need to do is run, anticipate, get it, and then just move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Sportzstats it is, SPORTZ, stats.com. Check it out. Good on you, Dake. Great to have you in the studio, mate. Always lovely to see you. We'll go bowling together again soon.
Oh, yeah, I look forward to it. But thank you so much, Kevin. Look, for everyone, I mean, we're out there looking at partnering opportunities too, and I'm happy to come out to the club and explain the program and the benefits that it can bring. So if I can just the website is www.sportzstats, so SPORTZSTATS.com. And if anyone wants to contact me, have a bit of a chat, just go to the site, leave a message, and I'll get back to you.
Good on you. Well done, Dakes.
Good on you, Kev.
Good to see you. Peter
Thank
Daicos, the Collingwood champion.